Hey, what's up YouTube? So in this video I'm going to show you how to connect your MicroKorg to FL20. Also going to show you how to record, how to automate, and then my workflow of making a song with the MicroKorg in FL Studio. Okay, shout out to Tsuj-Music, who's basically got like the only video on how to do this, but it's 7 years old, so I just want to show you a more updated version because a few things have changed since that video. But I'll leave a link to his video. It's a great video, but basically just showing you a few more features that have been added since then. Okay, so as far as the connection goes, the wiring goes, you're just going to need 2 MIDI cables and then 2 1/4" or TRS cables. So first thing you're going to do is connect your MIDI. So it's basically the MIDI in goes to the MIDI out on your audio interface, and then the MIDI out goes to your MIDI in on your audio interface. Okay. And then the output from your TRS cables, just remember which colors left and right, is going to go to your input on your audio interface. Okay, so basically I have a mixer slash audio interface, so I plugged in my 1/4" into my line 1 and my line 2. So just remember which ones you plugged it into. Obviously, if you don't have a mixer, it should just be line 1, line 2, or mic 1, mic 2. Okay, and then like I said before, the MIDI in is going to your MIDI out on your audio interface, and then the out's going to your in. So I'll draw up a little diagram. You can pause it on that if you're having trouble, but it's really simple as far as the wiring goes. Okay, next thing we'll do is we'll go to the machine. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on just to get a fresh start. What you have to do is take this edit select knob, and basically you're just going to dial it all the way to the right until you see MIDI. Okay, now you're going to take this cutoff knob and put it to 16. Okay, and that's just because when you load up the MicroKorg preset in Fruity Loops, it's going to be set to 16, but you could change it to anything you want. Alright, now this resonance knob number 2 is by default set to on. Just turn it off. And then the third one, it's going to be set to internal. Just turn it to external. Alright, so after you do that, that's your set as far as the wiring and connections go through the MicroKorg itself. Okay, so now we'll move on to the computer. Alright, and now once you're in the computer, you're just going to go to your options. This is a brand new Fruity Loops file. Just go to options, MIDI settings, and then from here you're going to look for your audio interface's MIDI ports. So in my case it's master control MIDI port for the output, and then you're just going to assign a port number to it. So in my case I already got 0 taken up, so I'm just using 3. And then you want to make sure the send master sync button is on, because that's what's going to link the tempos of say you're in 120 in Fruity Loops. That means the arpeggiator is going to be playing at 120 on the MicroKorg. Okay, so you just want to make sure the send master sync button's on. And then as far as the input, it's the same thing. You want to make sure you set it to port 3, the same as the output, or whatever number you want to use. Okay, and then make sure that this green button is on, this green little power symbol, and if it's not, you can just click this enable button on. Alright, from there you'll be set up as far as your MIDI input and output settings in Fruity Loops. Alright, so now what I usually like to do is I go to the channel rack, and then basically I just replace this track 1 with a MIDI out. Okay, so now from here you can basically just go to the presets and select MicroKorg. And now you see that channel 16 is already preset to that, so basically just now go to the port and make it port 3 or whatever port number you assigned it to. Okay, so we're almost there. It's not going to play yet, but basically you got to go to the mixer now. I'm already here on the mixer, and I'd usually like to go to insert 1 and then now select mic 1, mic 2, or wherever you plugged it into. If you have a mixer with a bunch of inputs, just remember which one it was. Okay. Okay, so now you see I got the MicroKorg playing now. All right. Um, so when I first started messing with the MicroKorg and using it with FL Studio, I would actually use the program select knob or wheel to change the sounds, and actually that's, you don't want to do that. So you do want to, what you do want to do is change the sounds from within the computer. So yeah, just get out of the habit of moving that program select knob, because it's going to throw things off. And basically the way it works is this is obviously not the right sound names. So acoustic grand piano sound 1 would actually be trance bank, the bank that's all the way to the left, sound 1. So basically all the banks have 8 sounds, so basically from 1 to 8 would be the trance bank. Alright, so you just got to use your imagination and some basic math and know that it's all multiples of 8 each sound bank. So 1 to 8 is trance bank, 9 to 16 is techno house. And I actually even went on the Fruity Loops forum and tried to see if there's a way that we could change this to, like, you know, trance bank 1 through 8 and blah blah blah, and nobody seemed to have an answer for it. So unless ImageLine actually changes it, I don't think it's going to be an easy fix unless you know how to somehow go into the program and change this. But if you do, leave a comment, let me know. But it's not that big of a deal, it's just multiples of 8. So yeah, just don't be tempted to change the sound with the wheel, the actual physical wheel in the MicroKorg. Just do it with this. So I even tested the vocoder and that works. So that should be sound 64 to 56 is the all the vocoder sounds. Okay. So now if you see, I'll show you right now. I'm on sound 1. Now if I move to sound 2, you'll see the program number change on the MicroKorg. So it's doing the right thing. Alright, just to prove to you that 1 to 8 is actually trance bank 1 to 8. Alright. Okay, so the next thing is actually, sometimes if you're playing a sound you're not hearing it, that's basically because you need to hit play. So either that, or you got to turn the arpeggiator button off, and that's why it wasn't playing. So basically, if the arpeggiator button's on, it's not going to play unless you hit play. All right. So if you hear, if you're going through a sound and it's not playing, it's because the arpeggiator button's on. So basically, these are like the actual only 3 buttons you could actually physically use on the MicroKorg. Is the arpeggiator on and off, and the octave shift up and down. Everything else, just don't touch it. Just do everything from within FL Studio. Alright. And then the other thing, a little workaround I found, since basically the cutoff, resonance, and attack knobs and the release knobs are, well, just the first 3, the cutoff, resonance, and attack, are used to set it to 16 off and external. You can't physically use them, but you actually can if you do this little workaround, and that's basically just go to these pages, go to the filter page, and now it has everything. So it has cutoff, resonance, attack, release. It has a few extra ones that aren't even there. It doesn't have the tempo, but long story short, you're gonna right click the cutoff, go to link to controller, and then now physically move the cutoff knob. And now you can control it from the MicroKorg, and it won't change the channel because we had it set to 16, but now it's not going to change anything. Okay, now you can go ahead and do the same thing for the resonance. Click link to controller, now move the knob. Okay, same thing for the attack. Okay, so now you can use these without messing up the settings. Alright. So that's a cool workaround. Now you can at least use the 5 knobs that the MicroKorg comes with. And then as far as like if you're like a MicroKorg enthusiast and you know Well, I mean, anybody can go in and start messing around with the different oscillators and semitones and stuff like that. You can just automate this with if you have like a control surface, you can set these knobs to more knobs on your control surface, or you can just do it with the mouse. And obviously that's a separate tutorial, but I'll show you how to do it in a second. It's really easy. But basically, yeah, there's a ton of stuff. Everything that's on the MicroKorg should be here, for the most part. So yeah, you see LFO and effects, different oscillators, amplifier. Um, so yeah, you can do a lot with just from within FL Studio. Okay, so for starters, let me just record a quick 4-bar loop, and I can show you how I start making a song. And what I usually do is, there's already a pattern up there, so I'll just record from that, but I'll find a cool sound that I like. Alright, so that's a decent sound. Alright, so what I'll do now is let's record something in. I set a quick 4-bar loop, go into song mode, hit record. So if you see what just happened is it recorded audio. So it recorded MIDI and then it recorded 3 audio tracks. You actually don't want this. In my opinion, you don't want the audio right away. And the reason for that is because you want to fix up all your MIDI before you hit record. So the reason it was recording audio is because I had the audio record triggered, and that's with this red dot right here. So you just got to turn that off. Alright. So the reason I'm not going to record yet is because I want to make sure everything's right in here. So say like I misplayed a note, or I wanted to add some new notes to it, I could do that now. So let's see. Alright, so I played everything okay, but say like some notes were a little off, you could fix all that stuff before you actually record it. Alright, and then actually what you should do is do all your automations before you record. So let's say, just for the sake of this video, I'll do a quick automation of the cutoff. Alright, so you see it just recorded what I did. So that's how you record an automation. You can either do it, I did it with the actual knob on the MicroKorg, but you could do it with the mouse too. You just make a new pattern, hit record, and do whatever you're gonna do, and it plays it back. Okay? So let's say I was happy with this and I want to record the audio now. Now I can go back and turn the red dot back on. And now I hit record again. Alright, so what I noticed too, it does the same thing on my Yamaha motif, but the first audio track it records gets a little, it misses some of the beginning. So usually I let it record twice. So I'm going to delete all the other ones and just keep the second one. And then it always comes muted, so you got to unmute it with this mute button right here up top. And then just click the clip and then it'll unmute it. Okay, so now we got the audio. We don't need these anymore. We can just delete them. And I'm going to move it up. And then another thing you're going to want to do is, now that I know this is the audio track I need, I'm going to delete all the other ones. So you can see which one is playing because that white dot. Alright, so not only am I going to delete all the other ones, I'm also going to assign it to a new track. So it's not, so if it's like this, it's just playing on the master track. You don't want that. So I'm going to put it to track 2 and then delete all the bad recordings. Because if not, it's just going to become a huge mess. And yeah. Alright, so now we got our main melody. Lower the master volume so you can hear me talk. But what I'm going to do now is basically, let's say I wanted to add a bass line now or add another element. I'm just going to clone the MicroKorg, the first one that's up there. Okay. And you could obviously just go in and hit replace and do MIDI out again, but then you got to assign the preset and do all the, it just saves you a few steps. So now I'm going to come in here. I got another MicroKorg. Let's say maybe add a bass. Find a nice bass sound. Alright, so now we added another MicroKorg. I mean, you obviously probably starting to get it if you're a Fruity Loops user. So yeah, I'm just gonna add another pattern. Hit record. And by accident again, I forgot to turn off the red button, so just make sure I got that turned off. See, but now this, you see how I played the bass a little late. Now I can come in and move it over before I record the actual audio. So this is why, a good example of why you want to make sure you have your MIDI right before you record the audio. All right. So let's go into here. Let's record some audio now. Something got a little messed up with the cutoff, but it's not that big of a deal. I could just draw it in. Alright, now say I'm happy with this bass line. I'm just going to turn the red dot back on and hit record again. You hear how the second one sounded the cleanest? So for some reason, I don't know why, it does the same thing on my Yamaha. That second recording is always the cleanest one. So I'm going to go and unmute it again, delete the first one. Alright, now we got I'm going to find the track again. If you click on the clip, audio clip, it'll show you which one it is. So I know it's this one. But another thing, now that I can assign it to 3, I can just now delete all these other ones. I don't have to try to figure out which one it is. So now I'll just add clone another one. Alright, so say I wanted to add that arpeggiator, you get the idea. Just keep adding more microKorgs, keep cloning more. So one thing I did notice, when you do open up a new sound, so like what'll happen is it's a little bug, but basically it'll keep playing in every other microKorg, if you notice. So what you got to do is you got to go up one and go down one. Now you're back to the original sound. So for some reason, whenever you select one sound in one microKorg and then you go to another one, it like won't read it, so you just got to reset it and go up one, go down one. Okay. All right, so it's a little buggy, that's a little bug, but it's really easy to fix. You just go up one sound, down another one, and that's the same thing actually if you're playing a sound and say like you start to add a lot of crazy effects. And then you put it back to 0 and it's still sounding crazy, you can just do the same thing and just go up one, go back down one. And now it resets it, goes back to normal. Alright. So yeah, that's basically how you do it. You just want to make sure you have your MIDIs set right, you know, before MIDIs and automations set right before you record and record raw audio, and just keep cloning more. And when you obviously, like I said before, when you add a new sound and then you go back to another sound, you just got to reset it. So I mean, it's a little buggy. Hopefully, maybe they'll actually work on this and fix it up a little more. But for now, yeah, we just gotta imagine with our multiples of 8 which sound bank we're on. I guess you could write a little chart out. But yeah, I showed you how to record, how to automate, and then how to get the 5 knobs that it comes with working without messing up your settings. And you should be good to go from here on there. Just keep on cloning more and have a blast. Yeah, I hope you like this. If this helped you out, please give me a like, subscribe, and yeah, if you have any questions, just hit me up in the comments. But yeah, I hope this helped out, and have a happy 2020, and keep synthing.